What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Resurrect. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the E92 M3 that was featured as a first rebuild project in this video. And yes, this car was sold. So we're going to reveal the exact price of what we paid for this car, how much the repairs cost. We're going to talk about how much time was spent doing all of the labor. And we're also going to talk about how much we spent on our parts car, how much the parts sold for, the total amount of all the parts that we've sold thus far, and how much actual profit we have made on this deal. So stay tuned for that. Now, after we talk about all of these things, I would like to get your opinion. What do you think? Was this worth it? Was this project worth it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already done so, please hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to ring that bell for post notifications so you don't miss out on future rebuild tips and tricks, as well as rebuild videos themselves and profit and price reveals. So we're going to get right on into it. The amount paid for this car after fees amounted to $10,100. And this car was purchased at Insurance Auto Auctions. Now, this car at the time retailed for just under $30,000. I would say 29 and change. I don't remember the exact number, but the expenses to repair this car, parts and materials, not including the parts that we got from our donor car, amounted to $2,727. Now, of course, the labor is not accounted for because we did that ourselves. However, we will reveal the amount of time that it took for us to tackle this project. So the actual sales price of what we actually sold this car for amounted to $17,500. Now, the clean title equivalent of this car at the time would have probably sold for somewhere in the ballpark between $25,000 and $27,000. So the net profit on this car amounted to a total of $4,673. Now, let's talk a little bit about the parts car that was purchased. That car we purchased after fees at a total of $6,917. And if you remember, that was a flood vehicle. So the parts that we have sold from this car, not including the parts that we took for our project, and we do have parts still left over, but thus far we have sold $11,325 of parts on that vehicle. Now, we have to subtract shipping and eBay fees, so that has totaled so far to $2,265. Of course, the labor to dismantle this car is not accounted for, and the time it takes to ship out these parts, but the total net profit on this entire deal is $6,816. So the question that we stated earlier is, was it worth it? And to really know the answer to this question, we have to figure out exactly how much time was spent on this build. So although we had this car for about a year, I would say the build actually took about 6 months, but I do work full time, so we did this kind of part-time. But if you actually took the amount of time that we worked on this car and you did it back to back, I would say it took somewhere between 4 to 5 full weeks of work, working at least 40 hours a week on this vehicle. So if you take all the profit and divide it by the amount of time, we're talking somewhere in the ballpark of $30 and $40 an hour. So whether or not that's worth it for you, well, that's debatable, but I will say I had an absolute blast doing this project and posting these videos, and I really enjoyed sharing this whole process with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this project was really getting to know this car inside and out. I enjoyed driving this car, really getting to know that DCT transmission. I have driven cars like this before, but they were not my cars, and I didn't really get to push a car like that to its limits. But that was an absolute blast for me to own this car, drive it around for a few months. That was completely worth it for me. Now, I have to say, as much as I enjoyed this transmission, and as great as it was, I still like the good old-fashioned stick shift in these cars, and I really wish I could have hung on to my E90 M3 that I talked about in a past video. That was a fantastic car. Another car that I really miss a lot is my 2013 CTS-V that we had purchased that was really modified. I mean, that thing was just brute force, raw power, completely different driving experience. I enjoyed both of those cars equally. Unfortunately, I am not able to hang on to these kinds of cars. I just don't have the space, time, or money. I just have to kind of love them and leave them and look for the next project. So that's where it lies right now. Maybe in the future things might be different. But if you don't already know, we are in the middle of a Ferrari 458 rebuild. That's what I'm presently working on. So stay tuned for future videos on that, and we're going to give you a little bit of an update here in just a minute. But I'm also in the process of finding another project car simply because the Ferrari is going to be a little bit of a slow process. Getting parts on that car is a little bit more difficult, and to actually land parts for a reasonable price is next to impossible. But we're going to take a little bit more time with this car, and so I'd like to have something else I can flip back and forth with. So I'm thinking something maybe Japanese, something kind of classic. But you tell me in the comments below, what would you like to see on the channel for us to rebuild and flip and try to turn a profit on? So let me know what you think in the comments below. So as far as the Ferrari update, let me tell you where I'm at with that thing. But currently the entire interior is completely stripped out except for the dashboard. Now the dashboard will have to come out to repair this car properly. So we are going to be doing some backyard engineering on this car that would make Enzo Ferrari roll over in his grave if he could see this process here. However, we're going to do the best quality work we can do with a house garage. So stay tuned for that repair. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to comment below and share your thoughts. Also, you can follow me on Instagram under Resurrect, the same name as this channel. And if you happen to be listening to this video on headphones, don't forget to give me a woot woot, and don't tell anybody around you why you just did that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.